All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? Joe Budden and his platforms have probably gotten him in a tad bit of trouble. So let's go through what happened, and then I'll give you a little bit of commentary on the back end of it. Joe Budden has not only a podcast that is super popping right now. That last episode with Chance the Rapper was amazing. But he also has a show called State of the Culture, right? And that's him alongside, what up, Scotty Beam and Remy Ma and company on that show. And in a recent episode, Joe Budden was discussing, he's the host of it, right? So he was discussing Cardi B, all right? And they were talking about Cardi B in context of being a superstar. And I don't really want to go too far in depth with this, but allegedly Cardi B was in the strip club and some strippers were there, or some bartenders or whatever you want to call them were there, who allegedly Offset might have had sex with in the past, and they were taunting her, and Cardi B sent a couple of her friends over to beat these chicks up. Okay, that's pretty much the story. Now the chicks are allegedly suing. Some people believe Nicki Minaj is actually paying for the chicks' lawyer fees. I cannot confirm or deny that. Anywho, on the State of the Culture, Joe Budden said Cardi B, then he used this term, he said Culture's mom, which is Cardi B and Offset's new kid. And he didn't use it in a negative connotation, but I thought he probably was a little out of bounds even speaking on their kid like that. Saying Cardi B as Culture's mom, then going in on Cardi B, I think that might have been a little too much. But he pretty much was like, Culture's mom, Cardi B, she's a superstar. She can't be out here, and these are Joe's words, not mine, beating up bitches at the strip club. She's a superstar. She doesn't get a pass, and she doesn't get second chances, and she doesn't have any room to make a mistake like that. That's essentially what he said. Joe probably went the hardest on that topic. It's on the latest episode of State of the Culture. Check it out. Somehow, some way, this episode got back to Offset. He was not happy about what Joe Budden had said about his baby mama / fiance / wife, Cardi B. And he hit up Joe in his Instagram comment section and said, look, I watched your show. You a grown ass nigga speaking on women. I seen you in Barney's and you ran like I was gonna do something to you, LOL. You a hoe ass nigga. Soon as you get touched, you gonna be policed. All right? Now, you can take that. That sounded very threatening and alarming, all right? And I've been around Offset a few times. Good dude, but he got some street niggas around him. And that's all I'm going to say about that, all right? Now, I do want to set off this disclaimer. On the Joe Budden podcast a few weeks ago, I did hear them say, and they were dead ass, they wanted to do a podcast in Atlanta, but because of the whole, if you don't remember the whole, do it look like I was left out bad and bougie complex interview when Joe was still on Everyday Struggle with Academics, that BET Awards red carpet interview that went wrong, and also some of Joe Budden's takes and opinions on Lil Yachty, the Everyday Struggle interview with Lil Yachty that kind of went left. Let's just call it what it is. QC don't like Joe Budden. Period. They don't like Joe Budden. Imagine being QC. They're respected by essentially everyone, but this one very powerful media personality, former rapper, now turned media personality, doesn't like them. And to be fair to Joe, I think that the QC label doesn't like criticism. That's just my opinion. But in regards to that label, they're like, damn, we got everybody essentially bought in, but this one guy who doesn't call our music the hottest thing in the streets. I don't think they like Joe, right? And Joe and Rory and Mal acknowledged that they didn't have Atlanta on their first wave of podcasts, live podcast shows as a city to go to. Obviously, they were trying to let the beef die down with QC and company, all right? So obviously, they don't like each other. QC doesn't like Joe for sure. Now, in regards to what actually pissed Offset off, what Joe said, I don't know. Again, maybe it could have been speaking on his daughter's name, or maybe it could have been something else that Joe said in regards to bringing up, shoot, if Offset did cheat on this girl, or maybe this was before he was with Cardi, no nigga wants somebody speaking on that in an interview or on a platform as big as Revolt TV. They're doing like 1 million views a video on that State of the Culture shit, right? Like, and it's on television. Maybe he just don't like the fact that Joe got that big platform speaking on a situation where he might have been the cheater, or hell, maybe he just don't like people speaking on his wife. All right, that's still a real thing. Here's where I'll combat Offset a little bit and play devil's advocate and side with Joe here. Cardi B is maybe the biggest female artists in the world right now. Definitely in that top 2 of biggest female rappers, maybe the biggest female rapper going right now. I don't know how he's going to balance the fact that his girl is a superstar. This is probably the first time he has to deal with his girl being a superstar, right? I don't know how you draw that line, because the point I'm trying to make is people are not going to stop using Cardi B's name. When people say Cardi B, there's money in that. Brandon and all that stuff. Cardi B is dollar signs in so many ways. People are going to continue to use Cardi B name in their mouth in news headlines. That couple is going to continue to be a topic of conversation no matter what. And I don't know how Offset will balance not only being a successful rapper himself, one of the biggest rappers in the world, on the biggest group in the world in the Migos, but now dealing with the fact that his girl is as big as a star Offset and the Migos are. Cardi B is a bigger star than them. She's like 10 times bigger than them at this point. She's a superstar. Like, how do you balance dealing with like your girl now having to take a beating, no pun intended, in the public domain, with just media headlines and personalities coming at her and criticizing her? I don't know how Offset deals with that. That's going to be tough. We've seen rappers like Meek Mill struggle with that. Meek ain't want nobody speaking on Nicki name. As a matter of fact, Meek and Joe got into it when Joe's podcast was first starting out about something similar about Joe speaking on Nicki. So look, it is going to be tough for Offset to adapt. But the point I'm trying to make is, unless he just tries to check everybody that speaks on Cardi B's name, there's no way he's going to stop Cardi B from being in people's mouth like Joe Budden. And hell, maybe he makes an example out of Joe. I hope that doesn't happen. But hell, look, one thing we know, the Migos, they don't mind pulling up on somebody. All right, they do not mind pulling up on you if they feel like you've talked out of pocket. All right, they never been afraid to do that. So we will see what happens. But Offset definitely hopped in Joe's comment section to let him know, bruh, this shit ain't sweet. Stop speaking on my baby mama / wife / whatever you want to call her name. All right, I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. You are now tuned in.
Yeah, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO. Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.